Hey everyone, welcome back to another Anime Kingdom review. See by title below, yes, this is on episode 11 of Recreators, and yes, I know, sorry that this is a couple days late. If you haven't been up to date with my videos, it's been kind of hectic. I am kind of behind at this moment, slowly starting to catch up. Of course, I actually am, after this episode, this review, I am actually almost pretty much caught up, so that's pretty damn good. Finally, of course, yeah, I did get to, find the time to go ahead and make this review, and that is why we are here right now. How did I feel about episode 11? Honestly, probably one of the most important episodes of the season so far, considering we finally, it was pretty much already, I'm pretty sure that most of us already knew that, Setsuna had committed suicide. She was, of course, the person who created Altair and everything, and this is also the person that pretty much was the cause of how Souta, his feelings on pretty much why he didn't want to tell anyone what had happened, because he pretty much had an indirect, some indirect connection to why she ended up, committing suicide. And pretty much this episode, we finally get it kind of like seeing that story more fleshed out. We already kind of, like I said before, assumed, but now we finally get to see more and more details on how it happened and why it happened. And you can kind of understand, like, honestly, I've been saying for quite a while that Souta has been pretty irritating and stuff, but you can see from after this why he's feeling so guilty and why he doesn't want to tell anyone about this and everything. I still think he's stupid, especially like after that one point with Meteora pretty much telling him, she's there for him and she'll understand, she can talk to him about it. And that was one of those moments that is like, right there, that's your moment to tell someone, I get why you've been feeling down and you don't want to tell anyone why you're feeling this, guilt and everything, and you're scared of what people will think because of that. But you need to move forward, you need to push on, and that's why it's been so hard for me, because it's so irritating knowing that Souta could have stopped so many things, and only now he's telling them because of, literally, it took Mamika dying, it took Celestia and Meteora almost dying, it took pretty much the world almost being destroyed, because if Altair was going to use her plans right then and there, it just unfortunately wasn't the time for her, so she ends up backing out, and luckily for them, they still have more time. If it wasn't for that, I don't know if Souta would have said anything. Also, if it wasn't for Megane also blackmailing him, because that was pretty much the reason why they ended up finding him and everything, and why they pretty much Meteora figured it out and all that kind of stuff. If it wasn't for those kind of events, then Souta probably would still be just like acting like he doesn't know anything. This episode in a way is finally like an episode for Souta to finally push past his demons, fight his demons, and be able to push forward, considering we start off with him being pretty much depressed. He feels guilty and everything for everything that's happened, and he still feels like it's his fault a lot of these things happen. Celestia and Meteora almost dying, his fault. Mamika dying, his fault. He feels that all of these stuff that's happened is still his fault, and that's why he pretty much is depressed throughout the beginning of the episode. I really did enjoy seeing Rui kind of go up to him and start to try and, get his spirits up and everything, cheer him up, and kind of, in a way, tell him that, he used to be like him too, sulking and depressive, all that kind of stuff. That's how his character was. And that's one of the reasons why I'm really enjoying this series so far, is that we did, of course, they did talk about it, how everyone is starting to change. These characters are starting to change. They're not acting exactly the way they did when they were in the story. And you can see that in this episode with Celestia talking to her creator, and I really enjoyed that moment as well. Like, they really are like father and daughter, honestly. But normally her character, she wouldn't be the kind of person to thank him and everything, and she did. Rui would have been the kind of person to, be just like how, he is right now, Souta is right now, and that's why he doesn't like seeing someone act like that, because he has changed as well since coming to this world. And I've really enjoyed that aspect of these characters slowly changing, and more and more and more, considering before they were on a set story, like kind of this is how their characters descriptions are, and they don't change from that. But it's been really interesting to see them change more and more from how they originally were, and it's pretty cool to see, for example, with Celestia, how her creator is actually seeing a total different side of her than how he ended up writing her at the beginning, and that's not a bad thing, obviously, and it actually may change the story to be even better, honestly. So that's it's a really interesting aspect that I've been really enjoying throughout the series. And yeah, of course, like I was going on about before I started talking about that, but it was really cool to see Rui kind of bringing them up to the skies, which I guess it was a great view. But it was really cool to see how he thought he was kind of just like Souta before, kind of, you know, always gloomy and all that kind of stuff, and trying to fight and all that. You know, he was mad because he was put into this situation that he did not want to be in, and he was always, the way he acted was kind of just like how Souta is acting right now, and he doesn't like that, so he tries to help Souta out, which it does help him, you know, finally start to move forward a little bit more. And then, of course, we come to the point where we finally get the moment where Meteor, you know, calls everyone there, starts to talk about, you know, Altair's creator and everything, and finally, we get Souta pushing forward. We finally see him facing his demons and finally telling everyone the truth behind everything that's been going on so far. Who is the creator of Altair and what happened to her and his connection to her. And this part, I gotta say, when they first showed, you know, Setsuna, I was like, holy crap, she's cute. And obviously her personality matches him a lot. I'm not gonna lie, I can be a socially awkward kind of person as well. So seeing, you know, both him and her when they first met each other and they were both socially awkward, it was cute. It was honestly an adorable moment. And throughout that thing, it was a really nice story. Like, if it wasn't for the fact that you know what happens to Setsuna and this was just a story of its own, you would have thought it was just a nice romantic story kind of thing. It starts off, you know, they both don't, or at least, you know, Souta doesn't really have much friends. All of a sudden he starts posting pictures on this site. She starts saying she likes his, he likes hers. They start talking more and more, giving their information, their emails and stuff. And then, of course, it comes to the point where they finally meet each other in person, and you see a lot of the connections that they do have together. And it was really cute, honestly, him bringing her. Of course, he was shy about it, wanted to grab her hand, but instead grabbed her sleeve and everything, going up to the top, showing her, you know, to pretty much breaking the rules because he shouldn't be up there. And then, of course, you know, seeing the artist doing live drawings and everything, and of course she almost falls over, which is kind of a little scary, but you know that she wasn't going to die there because we already know how she dies. But then you have this moment with, like, he grabs her, they fall down right next to each other, and it was honestly so cute that the connection they had, and including the moment when she puts the glasses on. It was like, at that moment, I was like, oh no, my heart is not going to be able to take what's going to come next, because we already know what's going to happen. And seeing all this adorable, cute stuff, it was just like, oh no, this is just making it 10 times worse for when it actually happens of, you know, her committing suicide. And then, of course, we start to finally see the details on what happens from there on out, why he starts to, you know, avoid her and everything. It's obviously she starts to gain in popularity. A lot of people are seeing her works as, you know, getting better and better. And she's like a rising star. And then we see her working with this famous producer. And then, of course, one day and that's when she starts to text him, starts talking to him, and he starts to distance himself from her because of jealousy. Pretty much, that's the major thing in this. That's why he feels so guilty, is because of that jealousy, because of that. Pretty much, you know, jealousy is an ugly thing, honestly, but it's a human trait. You can't avoid it. Everyone gets jealous of someone, and he also got jealous of her. He tried to avoid her. Try to distance himself from her. And when the moment came when she started to, you know, bring out this piece of work, someone obviously on the internet, you know, that's how the internet is, honestly, goes envious and jealous and starts to say, like, oh, this person, she plagiarized this, and all of a sudden it went on and on and on as more people started to follow that as well, thinking that rumor was real. And even though they didn't have proof, people started to say that, and of course, you know, indirectly saying stuff like, obviously, go kill yourself, how dare you go and plagiarize this, like, you're just copying other people and stuff. And obviously that's, you know, cyberbullying is a very big thing. And obviously this was the moment where you thought maybe he would go and contact her, see how she is, if she's okay. That's what I would at least do. Sure, he's scared, of course, to try and defend her, and I totally understand that, because it could get worse. You know, him saying that something could make everything 10 times worse for her, and maybe even him as well, as people will probably attack him too. But she is your friend. Sure, you start to feel jealous, but she's still your friend. She never did anything bad to you purposely, you know. indirectly her popularity caused you grief and stuff, but he should not, that part irritated me. Like, he should not have just like been paralyzed. He should have said something. He should have done something. And if he was too scared to do something there, at least contact her and see if she's doing okay. Because if he were to do that, if she were to hear that, don't listen to those people. You know what is true. Who cares what they say? And maybe she wouldn't have done what she ended up committing suicide. Instead, you see the ugly truth of how he felt at the very end of this episode. And this is definite reason on why he doesn't want to tell anyone, is because at the end of it, he felt a disgusting satisfaction out of her pretty much being bullied and all this kind of stuff, because it seemed like he wasn't the only one being left behind, and she was also being pushed back down as well. And yes, it's a horrible thing, but it's kind of understandable, and why we've already seen how Sota's character is, and you can kind of get why he would be like that. Yes, I'm not saying to forgive him. That's messed up in how he would think like that, but it's also the ugly truth of how humans and people are. Honestly, you cannot lie that you felt some emotion like this before towards someone, because that's just how being human is, honestly. And it's messed up, it's ugly, but it's true. And that's why if it definitely kind of you have to start to understand why he acted the way he did. I still think he should have told someone before, like Meteora, when she was opening herself up to him and everything, saying he could tell her anything he wanted. And it pretty much took, like I said, it took so many people almost dying. It took Mamika dying. It took pretty much, if it wasn't for Magane literally blackmailing him, no one would have found out. No one would have found out, and honestly, he probably would not have told anyone and would not have pushed forward to face his demons. So that's why I really enjoyed this episode. I felt it was definitely a very important episode in the story and the plot, considering the fact that before this point, it's had some crazy action scenes I've definitely enjoyed. It's had a great job at building the world to what it is now. And this is finally, in my opinion, where the story and the plot is finally starting to progress. We're getting into the real meaty kind of stuff with how, Setsuna, as she is the main, reason why Altair is doing all this stuff. It's finally getting more into the info on what's going to happen next for all of these characters. So that's why I really enjoyed it. That's pretty much all I got to say about this one. I'm definitely excited to see how the next episode will be. I still see in the forums that some people are saying, like, man, this is so boring, this is so unneeded, where's like other, like, we just had an explosive episode. Why do people literally get so pissed off when they have something like an episode like this? Like, it was really important, honestly, and I really did enjoy the way they described the characters, and they kind of pushed and developed our characters more and more. Like, I don't understand why people seem to just want action and nothing else. It really boggles my mind, honestly, on that point. That's why sometimes I try to avoid reading the forums, but curiosity, sometimes I always just feel like I have to go and check it out, But yeah, that's all I really gotta say, guys. Hope you enjoyed this Anime Kingdom review. If you have any questions, feel free to comment below. If there's anything else you want to talk about, comment below as well. And if you did enjoy it, don't forget to leave a like. If you haven't already, feel free to subscribe for more content. And as always, guys, I want to hear your guys' thoughts as well, good, bad, however you guys felt. I want to hear what you guys thought about this episode. And if you have any expectations on how the next episodes will be as well, feel free to comment below those thoughts too. So yeah, that's all I gotta say, guys. So next time, see ya.